Well, that was the national anthem, marking we are just about ready to get started with this morning session. Last night we had a successful distance session with 11 and overs, both boys and girls, but this morning it's just the girls, 15 and over, and we'll be starting with the 200-yard medley relay in just a moment. If you tuned in last night, then you already heard my voice. Again, my name is Jennifer Beck. I've been a swim parent for 17 years, and 2 daughters are swimming in this session this morning. And Jason is a teacher and a coach and also a swim dad.
Yeah, so this is, boy, I'm trying to think of how many years it's been now for me. Probably more like 10 or 11, so you got me by a few years. And I'll have to admit, this is my first time announcing a swim event. I've done some track meets and some football events, but this is certainly going to be something new for me. So I'll try not to make too many references to touchdowns or other things.
Well, and we certainly hope that we mention all of the names accurately. We are both from the Lima, Ohio YMCA swim meet, and we've been swimming with a lot of the Ohio swimmers, the Northwest Ohio swimmers, for many years. But we are certainly excited to have so many Michigan swimmers today. We also have Kentucky and West Virginia and Indiana. Such an honor, really, for the swimmers to qualify for this meet.
A lot of them have worked very, very, very hard this year. Even with a lot of the unusual procedures. And again, we're not really sure what it's like outside of Northwest Ohio, but there were certainly some different things the swimmers had to go through this year in order to get here. So I'm assuming in most states that's probably the same way, that this was a swim season, but it certainly was different than a lot of them. And so I think a lot of them are happy to get in the pool because that feels normal compared to maybe some of the other things that they've encountered this year.
Absolutely, especially when you think about how many things we're talking high schoolers right now, how many things the high school kids basically endured throughout this year. For these athletes to have ability to probably release some of that stress by getting in and swimming and still competing is definitely a very valuable thing.
It certainly is, and I know my kids have been excited because we've done so many virtual meets this year where we swim against our own team essentially and then combine results. They were just happy to see other faces and other teams in the pool where they weren't swimming against each other essentially the whole meet. So this will be exciting, I think, for these kids at this level.
Absolutely. Well, the whistle has been blown, so the first swimmers are just about getting ready to go into the water for the backstroke. Looks like we got all 3 of those swimmers. In lane 4, it's Kaufman Family YMCA out of Ohio. Lane 5, Benton Harbor St. Joseph out of Michigan. And lane 6 is Cuyahoga Falls Riverfront out of Ohio.
In lane number 4, we have the Kaufman squad, Benton Harbor within lane 5, and Cuyahoga in lane number
So if you're watching us this morning, there should be a scoreboard, I think, that appears on your screen many of the times.
Upper left-hand corner.
Upper left-hand corner a lot of times, maybe not all the time, but you might notice there are no names on there. This is an auxiliary scoreboard. The Bowling Green, unfortunately, had some problems 2 weeks ago and then had some problems again last night. So we've been lucky enough to have an alternative board to be able to look at, but it doesn't always, unfortunately, have the names of your swimmers on there.
Right, and you are able to print a copy of the heat sheet. You are watching on the WOSN site right now, and there should be a link there that unfortunately isn't a live link, but you should be able to copy and paste that into a browser, and you can print your own heat sheet so you can follow along. Or, of course, Meet Mobile also has the heat sheet right there in the app, so you can watch that too to figure out what swimmers you have. But again, what we have right now is Kaufman Family in lane 4. Currently the leader right now, Benton Harbor St. Joseph in lane 5, and Cuyahoga Falls Riverfront in lane 6.
And I'm sure most of you are aware, because I would guess a lot of you are probably longtime family or friends, but you start off with a backstroke, then you go to breaststroke, fly, and then you end with the freestyle in the medley relay.
You know, this is really, I wouldn't say a unique relay because it's a standard relay, but it's a relay that has an opportunity to really showcase each one, your best backstroker, your best freestyler, your best breaststroker, your best flyer, all combined into one in order to make it to this level of this event.
Yeah, it is, and obviously these are 4 different swimmers rather than just one, but in the individual medley, you can see the strengths of each individual swimmer's stroke, but here, in theory, you've got your 4 best swimmers swimming your their individual best event.
Heat number 2.
And that was lane 4, Kaufman family, that finished first in a time of 154.75. And the swimmers for Heat 2 are now coming into the pool. Little different than before. We got slight delays between the heats of the relays just to get the relay teams in and out without too much closeness.
Yeah, again, going back to those COVID procedures that they've all been dealing with. So from a normal year, it's certainly different. But for these swimmers, I think a lot of times this has become sort of standard now. There was a pretty nice time drop there from Kaufman family. It looks like they dropped around 7 seconds or so from the listed time.
That would have put them in the fastest heat, so we're going to have to keep track of that time and see how that impacts the other relays. So here we are in Heat 2 of 3 of the girls' 200-yard medley relay. In Lane 3, it's Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 4, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 5, Lima, Ohio. Lane 6, Rapid Area, Michigan. Lane 7, Putnam County, Ohio. And Lane 8, Union County, Ohio.
In heat number 2, we have Youngstown and lane 3, Wapakoneta, and lane 4, Family, and lane 5.
Looks like Rapid Area is getting a quick lead right there.
Lane 7, and Union County, and lane 8.
But you never know in this type of relay, because you do have the strong swimmers in each different event.
That's true, and I believe you qualify as a relay, so it's possible that these are 4 different girls that swam in the last event too. Maybe that doesn't always happen, but that is a possibility that your relay qualifies, and depending on individual events, they may move in and out of those relays.
Well, that's definitely the case. I know even our own team, one of our relays, my daughter can't swim at the end of the day, so we've got an alternate. And as we know, these kids are all busy. They are busy this time of year. So because we have that alternative scoreboard for you, unfortunately we don't have instant splits to share at this moment, but you're going to be able to find all of that on Meet Mobile. And the results last night came rather quickly, so hopefully you will be able to get those results quickly again. Rapid Area is continuing to have a strong lead here as their final swimmer is now in the water.
So it looks like a really close race here for second. First place seems sort of predetermined, but second place is really tight there.
So that was a record-setting swim right there. 1:53.73, Rapid Area YMCA out of Michigan. I take that back. That wasn't a record-setting swim. There are no records here, so forgive me for saying that, but that was a A-zone qualifying swim.
Gotcha.
We will be watching records in all of the individual events, but I forgot that we don't have them for the relays. I got a little thrown off because it was blinking. It was blinking.
Yeah,
yesterday that meant it was a record.
So 1:53.73 is the fastest in that heat. Again, a fairly nice time drop, about a little bit less than 4 seconds. So some good times being put up here initially.
Heat 3 of 3 is coming up next in the girls 15 and over 200-yard medley relay. In lane 2, it's Lancaster and Fairfield out of Ohio. Lane 3, Beaumont Center family out of Kentucky. Lane 4, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 5, Birmingham family YMCA out of Michigan A. Lane 6, Birmingham family out of Michigan B. Lane 7, Farmington family out of Michigan. Lane 8, Fort Meigs out of Ohio. And Lane 9, Grand Traverse Bay in Michigan.
So starting out with the backstroke, it's always interesting to see the different styles that people employ. There's the general takeoff, but some people stay underwater a little longer. Some people break the surface and start to stroke a little sooner. So I always think that's kind of a interesting thing to note at how different styles work for different people.
And it's hard to say that one typical style is the way to go, because you can see that in times it really depends on the body shape, the person, what works for them. We did see that was Amy Pan, who took off really quickly for Birmingham family in lane, or Farmington family rather, in lane 7.
close group coming in here in lane 7 and lane 5, which is one of the Birmingham families.
So as of last night, Fort Meigs was leading this meet with Birmingham family in a very close second place. Of course, you have a whole lot of swimming to take place today and tomorrow, and you can track all of those scores on the score part of the Meet Mobile app. Wow, very close here, Jason. Look at
that. Yes, this is almost stroke for stroke here. This exchange is probably going to have a big effect there. And Birmingham looks like they got in just a little bit sooner than Farmington did.
And this is going to be close all the way to the end between Birmingham and Farmington. With them both being from Michigan, I wonder if they are really cognizant of each other. They swim against each other regularly.
I would guess they would, but again, without knowing the geography very well, it's hard to say.
Absolutely, sure. 1:48.56 is the first place time that goes to Birmingham Family YMCA A, and the second place winner is Farmington Family with a time of 1:49.14. So we've been talking about time drops. We have started the day with some pretty significant time drops.
That's great to see. Sometimes early in the morning like this, maybe people aren't quite as awake as what you would hope, but it looks like these girls are ready to go.
And it does appear that the winner from Heat 2 is going to end up in fourth place with a time of 1:53.73. That beats several of the teams that just raced now. So. And then all the way back in Heat 1 with a 1:54.75. That's also going to squeak in there quite a bit. Some pretty fast swimming this morning.
And that's good. It's always interesting to think about, with that team in Heat 1, did they change swimmers out when they swam with their championship or when they made that qualifying time? When was that and what caused that big time drop? But they were obviously focused and ready to go. Maybe those girls, maybe some of those girls are only swimming 1 or 2 events today, so they're really putting all their efforts and focusing on those the relays.
And I'm also curious as far as the ability for practice. We have high schoolers here, so inevitably a lot of them are very busy with other events going on. I know your daughter's got track. My daughters have other things going on as well. And we get to the point where some of these swimmers, this is all they do. So they have a tremendous amount of training time at this point in the season. Then there's others who are really juggling to try and even get back in the pool as all these other teams are pulling at them.
It is, and swimming is a long season. If you're a swimmer, you may swim almost all year round if you're swimming Summer USA or if you have community clubs, and so there may only be a month or 2 break in between your summer season and your winter season, and then your summer season again, maybe another couple weeks or a month. But that certainly makes a difference if you're involved in other activities, because that is true. A lot of people are doing other events right at this point in time and trying to juggle 2 practices, and in some cases I know 3 practices a day possibly.
Well, I'm just now checking Meet Mobile, and they are rather quickly getting these times in. So if you want to see your swimmers split, then you can go ahead and jump into there. They do have the first 2 heats that are already in there. Looks like the 3rd heat, they're still cycling that in, but it'll probably be very, very quickly, and they'll have that information for you.
So again, you may notice a little break here. This is to give some of these athletes, it is all one age group and one sex. It's to give these swimmers some time if they are swimming in the relay and then swimming in another meet, give them a little time to recover, cool down, get some water, maybe get a quick snack, and get behind the blocks without rushing them through. We obviously can't take all day for the swim meet, which some people would enjoy doing, but we can at least give them a little bit of rest before they have to do their next event.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, the Northwest Ohio YMCA Swim Championships were held here with a similar format broken down into age groups, and we discovered then that the 15 and over age group went by so rapidly that it was pretty rough for these swimmers to be able to recover before their next meet. So I'm not sure if that has any factor in the timing of this one, but I know that this one they spread out a little bit more, potentially to give those swimmers a little bit more time. So you at home have to wait a little longer, but your swimmers are very grateful for that.
Yes, and the swimmers are very grateful because there were some swimmers when we were at the Northwest Championship that, were in the water, and 10 minutes later they were in there for their next event. And these events are to hopefully allow your swimmers to swim the best times they possibly can, and that may not be the scenario that allows that. So spreading them out a little bit more and giving them some rest time in between will hopefully allow them to swim their best times they possibly can swim.
The next race coming up will be the 200-yard freestyle, and we will have 3 heats of that. So it should be Jason, if this runs kind of like it did last night, once we get into the individual events, that'll start moving more quickly, because hopefully they will have been scheduled in a way that these swimmers have more time. But obviously they just got done with relays. Some of these kids that just swam are going to turn right around now and swim in this 200 in just a moment.
Yeah, and I think coaches are aware of those things too. There are some times that an athlete might be very, very good in 2 events, but due to the structure of the meet or the format of the meet, they may end up being back-to-back events, and that's really hard on the athlete, and they're either going to have to train for that and be aware of that, or maybe they shuffle them to another event that they can qualify for.
While here at Cooper Pool, you are required to comply with all of Ohio's COVID-19 guidelines. Again, make sure that you stay in your assigned seats, always remain socially distant, and make sure that you are wearing your mask at all times, other than when you're in the pool. And once again, all competitors for the 200 freestyle should be reporting to the bullpen.
So they are calling the 200-yard freestyle swimmers now, which means it will be just a matter of moments before we have Heat 1 getting ready to go. And I just want to give a little disclaimer before we get going. There are some phenomenal last names in this next heat, some incredible names, and I'm just praying I get them right. So those of you at home, if we mistake it, will you please forgive us?
Absolutely. One of the things in the few live events that I've done is I've tried to contact coaches or, go down and ask coaches. But obviously with the COVID procedures, it's very difficult to come into contact with these coaches and, try to say, okay, this is the way I would say it. Am I right? And unfortunately, I'm almost always wrong. So I do beg forgiveness beforehand, because I will probably mispronounce several names, but it's not because I want to pronounce them. I just you and your family have lived those with your whole life, and for some of these names, we're looking at them for the first time. So we will absolutely do our best, and please forgive us if they're not correct. Hopefully, we're close.
I'll tell you a little secret. I work in the television industry, and the way that we actually read names off of our teleprompter is completely phoneticized.
Okay.
So you at home never get to see this, but we do our very best to make sure that we get it accurate. So it is it's one of my personal things. I want to say your name correctly.
Yeah.
Here then are the final results on the girls 15 and over 200 medley relay. 8th place, congratulations will go to the squad from Lancaster and Fairfield YMCA. 7th place to the Grand Traverse Bay YMCA. 6th place goes up.
So results from the girls 200-yard medley relay. First place went to Birmingham Family YMCA with a time of 1:48.56. Second place, Farmington Family A. Third place, Youngstown, Ohio. Fourth place, Rapid Area, Michigan. Fifth place, Kaufman Family out of Ohio. Sixth place, Fort Meigs. Seventh place, Grand Traverse Bay out of Michigan. Eighth place, Lancaster and Fairfield YMCA out of Ohio. Ninth place, Beaumont Center Family out of Kentucky. And 10th place, Birmingham Family YMCA B from Michigan.
In correction. Second place was the Farmington.
So the ladies are starting to line up here for the first heat of the 200. Again, it'll be interesting to see. We have all 15 and over ladies here, and so we're used to seeing YMCA swim meets where you have multi-ages, and so you think of the 200 sometimes when you get some of these 9 and 10 or some of these younger ones, they can take a while, but I would guess that the 200 free at this level is going to be a lot faster than what we're used to seeing at most of our smaller meets.
And we have the cream of the crop here. We have the fastest swimmers in all of Ohio and the surrounding Indiana, Michigan, West Virginia, Kentucky areas. So when we talk about Heat 1, we're not talking about a slow heat at all here.
No, these are fantastic athletes and fantastic swimmers. And I would guess, too, here there are probably going to be some significant time drops because in many of these swimmers, this is probably, again, only one or two events they may swim today. So I think they'll definitely not leave anything behind. Sometimes, if you've got another event later on that you may hold back a little bit. But I would guess today there is no holding back. Some of these athletes are looking to make fiesta times, which is a little bit, or festival times, excuse me, which is a little different than normal, but we'll probably get to that a little bit later on in the meet.
Right. Normally we'd be talking about nationals, and this year you're going to hear us talking about festival, which is not necessarily, we can't say it's the nationals replacement, but it is the meet that is fitting the national type of meet. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Here we go in Heat 1 of 3 in the 200-yard freestyle. In Lane 2, it's Rachel Gozinski of Kaufman Family, Ohio. In Lane 3, it's Caitlin Irodanu of Greater Flint, Michigan. Lane 4, Catherine Williams of Ridgewood Branch, Ohio. Lane 5, Alyssa Calloway of Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 6, Caitlin Slowinski of Myers Lake, Ohio. Lane 7, Emma Fritz of Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 8, Allie Butts of Whitley County, Indiana. And Lane 9, JC King of Battle Creek Family, Michigan.
Going to be pretty tightly bunched for this first group coming in for their first 50. Looks like about 5 athletes all there coming in pretty close to the same time. So
28-48 is your fastest split in this. So they're starting out. I always think it's interesting because they're starting out at the same speed that some people swim their 50 free.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, in order to qualify for this meet, the B zone qualifying time was a 2:04.79. The A zone qualifying time was a 1:59.79, and the festival qualifying time is a 1:57.69. And a little different than past zones, having this A qualifying and B qualifying. A qualifiers were automatically in. B qualifiers had to wait till about, I think it was last week.
Yes.
Or 2 weeks ago to find out if they made it.
Yeah, I think it was maybe a week ago Wednesday that they found out. And I know having a few kids that had A cuts and a few kids that had B cuts, there were some anxious moments there. But fortunately, they were able to fit in, I think, if not all the B cuts, almost all of the B cuts into the meet. And so that was great for those kids that were working really, really, really hard to try to get to this meet. So coming in to finish, it looks like lane 5, which is Alyssa Calloway out of Farmington Family. She's got about a body length lead, it looks like.
2 minute flat, 2.00.5. Of course, there's another digit that we're missing there that you're going to see once you get into Meet Mobile, but 2 minutes flat, which is a time drop for her.
And Catherine Williams, it looks like, from Ridgewood Branch, came in second. So
her time was a 2:04. Heat 2 of 3, just about ready to dive into the water. Waiting for the whistle to get ready to go. In lane 2, it'll be Sydney Van Lente of Rapid Area YMCA in Michigan. Lane 3, Lauren Taylor, Greater Flint in Michigan. Lane 4, Marion Dalziel, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 5, Hannah Deegan of Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 6, Alexis Myhoke of Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 7, Haley Gano of Fort Meigs, Ohio. Lane 8, Lacey Langmeyer of Wheeling, West Virginia. And lane 9, Kate Herr of Kaufman Family, Ohio. And I'll mention we do have one festival time qualifier in this heat. That's lane 5, Hannah Deegan from Birmingham Family, Michigan.
Heat number 2.
And again, many swim families will be familiar with flyover starts, again, not knowing the other areas, but in almost all of our high school meets this year and a lot of our YMCA meets this year, we've used flyover starts. In many cases, they do that in order to speed up the meet, to make it go faster. But what people have found is that it actually maybe helps with some of the COVID protocols, and it helps with interacting on the deck quite as much. So one swimmer stays in the water, another swimmer's over top of them, several feet away. I think they figured out most of the time they're at least 6 feet away, and so there's a little bit less interaction on the deck. So you might see most of these events that can possibly have them, with the exception of relays and backstrokes, be employing flyover starts today.
Really, and how nice that is that was something already part of the swimming protocols before all of this that could just easily be instituted right into it to make things more COVID friendly.
It was, and I know from our point of view, again with a lot of our high school meets and YMCA meets, once they got to the bigger competitions where they normally employ those starts anyway, they were ready for that. They knew what to do, and even the young 9s and 10s for the most parts, they're pretty good with those by now. So pretty close race here coming in.
Haley Gano with a slight lead at the moment, but lane 4, Marion Dalziel right now second place, but like you said, yeah, close. That second place is tied 3 ways at the moment, close, almost.
Yeah. So with the 25 to go, there's still a lot of position changes that can happen here. Lane 2 looks like they're making a run, and it's going to make it, I think, a pretty tight race for the first place.
This is going to be very close, and Lane 2 got it. I think that's called outside smoke.
I think that is called outside smoke.
Sydney Van Lente from Rapid Area, Michigan, with a time of 1:59.03, came in with a 2:01.46. So congratulations to her on that time drop. Haley Gano from Fort Meigs, Ohio, 1:59.13 for a second place finish. Moving right along to Heat 3, every single one of these swimmers has swam the festival qualifying time, which is what we're talking about this year instead of nationals. Lane 2, it's Madison Helmick of Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 3, Lauren Ryle of Rapid Area, Michigan. Lane 4, Megan Clifford of Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 5, Amy Pan, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 6, Samantha Clifford, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 7, Casey Sanders, Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 8, Mags Marodi, Wheeling, West Virginia. And lane 9, Emma DeRico, Farmington Family, Michigan. Michigan has some solid 200 freestylers.
They apparently do. There's 2 clubs there that have a significant amount of swimmers in this event, this heat, and in the event in general. 200 and 500, you know, they're probably not distance events when you compare them to Olympic level swims, but for high school swimmers, those are kind of the distance ones that you normally compete. And so I know that I have a son that likes to do the 500, and that's a little bit different training. And so is the 200. It's not a normal type event. It's a little bit longer, and takes some different training and different skills than maybe what a 50 or 100 does.
Now, we've talked about the different styles that exist, and it's interesting for me to watch this. Your leader is Amy Pan in lane 5 with a very smooth stroke. Close behind her in lane 6 is one of her teammates, I'm assuming, Samantha Clifford. Also smooth, but a little bit different. You can't really say what is the perfect style of a stroke for a swimmer.
Yeah, and I think they might be competitors. I think one is Farmington and one is Birmingham. So I would guess that those two swim against each other.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
We probably don't want to. There's probably a rivalry there that we don't know about. But yeah, hopefully they're friendly competitors. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, going back to the last heat where there was a difference of a tenth of a second, I'm always kind of fascinated. Being a track coach, I kind of know some differences in distance, and a hundredth of a second in a track meet is the length of a nose. But when you're going through the water, tenth of a second is actually not that big of a difference. So you might be talking finger lengths or maybe half
really
a hand.
one touch
yeah,
over there.
Yeah, how close those finishes are.
And the first place finish does go to Amy Pan from Farmington family with a time of 1:52.99. Second place goes to Samantha Clifford, who is from Birmingham family. Make sure I get my ham and tons and everything correct here, with a time of 1:56.01. Am I reading that correctly?
Let's see. I lost the place here. 150. Oh, I'm looking at third place. Excuse me. Yeah, 156.01, I believe. Yes. Yes. Yeah. We have confirmation from our scoreboard operator. So
we are certainly grateful for Jeff Bullis and Denise Phillips, who are manning things behind the scenes. All of those camera switches and everything that you see there are taking place thanks to their fingers. All right, we are quickly moving on into the girls 15 and over 50-yard backstroke. So we're moving to a sprint here. Lane 2, it's Grace Beck from Lima, Ohio. Lane 3, Grace Shakel from Whitley County, Indiana. Lane 4, Kayla Reich of Wabash County, Indiana. Lane 5, Caitlin Rossifer of Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 6, Allie Curry of North Lexington family, Kentucky. Lane 7, Anna Ackerman, Beaumont Center family, Kentucky. Lane 8, Rayanna Turk of Cuyahoga, Ohio. Lane 9, Emma Page of Wabash County, Indiana.
And again, we don't have much time between these sprints because they are so fast. They're going to swim these pretty quickly. But I noticed that Grace in lane 3, I believe it was Grace. Yeah, she was underwater for about half the length of the pool, which is a little different than some of the other competitors.
And your first place finisher in this heat, so I'm at 29.37 with
Allie Curry, I believe.
Allie Curry.
North Lexington.
Okay, so that was a moment where it's hard to be a commentator and a parent, because I had a daughter that just swam, and I didn't really see any part of her race because I was trying to pay attention to everybody else, and then I couldn't get the finish in. So that's what you get. We are volunteers here. We are invested parents, but there are moments where I lose my place. But I won't lose my place now. All right, here we are, lane 2. Alika Daniels from Union County, Ohio. Lane 3, Allison McDaniel from Ridgewood Branch, Ohio. Lane 4, Carly Oldfield from Lima, Ohio. Lane 5, Emily Hess from Lenawee County, Michigan. Lane 6, Lauren Vinson, Lancaster, Ohio. Lane 7, Cam Crosby, Grand Traverse Bay, Michigan. Lane 8, Shelby Jones, Kaufman Family, Ohio. And Lane 9, Molly Gregory, Union County Family, Ohio.
And I believe finishing first was Emily Hess in lane 5 out of the Lenawee County. Her time was 29:23.
So that's the second heat where our first place finisher does drop 30. And now we move into the third heat of 3. Third of 3. Josie Wise of Springfield Family, Ohio in lane 2. Riley Brown of Springfield Family, Ohio, lane 3. Hannah Higgins of North Canton Community in lane 4. Madison Helmick, Burlington Family, Michigan, lane 5. Madeline McGee, Rapid Area, Michigan, lane 6. Lily Diltz, Youngstown, Ohio, lane 7. Lauren Hetman, Kaufman Family, Ohio, lane 8. And Madeline Keegley, Benton Harbor, Michigan, lane 9.
Very fast start. They're all grouped very, very, very close together.
And you talked a lot about the underwaters, and you saw a lot of the swimmers did stay underwater to that halfway point. And I have heard from other swimmers how valuable that is when you can really garner that underwater time.
It reduces friction from what I understand. And so, that's a big thing with these swimmers is you think, well, they're in water, but friction does play a big part in what their times are and how well they swim.
And speaking of times, 28.13 is the winning time, and that belongs to Madeline McGee, a time drop for her because she came in with a seat time of 28.62, so she had a time drop there. Second place was lane 5, Madison Helmick, with a time of 28.57.
Please report to the bullpen area. Again, participants for the 200 IM.
Our next race will be the 200-yard IM. They are bringing the swimmers here, so we expect to have them here shortly. Just one heat, so if you got a swimmer in the 200-yard IM, stick close. That lady will be swimming coming up next.
Here are the results on the 200 freestyle. 8th place, congratulations to Amy Nina.
Hello, I'm Steve Shive, District Vice President for the YMCA of Greater Toledo. I want to welcome everyone to the 2021 All-Star Zones Swim Championships. I want to take a special thanks to all of our swimmers today who have qualified for the meet. You all have endured a lot of trials, challenges throughout the last year, and I praise you for all the work you've done to qualify for today. I also want to take a moment to thank our parents of all the swimmers who have invested their time, effort, and resources in their kids to allow them to come to this level. Also, I want to thank you for your continued support of the YMCA. Without you, we would not be able to do our work and serve the community as we do. Good luck, everyone, and have a great meet.
Results from the girls 15 and over 200-yard freestyle. First place, Amy Pan with a time of 1:52.99. Second place, Samantha Clifford, 1:56.01. Third place, Madison Helmick, 1:57.13. Fourth place, Lauren Ryle, 1:57.79. Fifth place, Bags Marodi, 1:58.27. Sixth place, Casey Sanders, 1:58.44. Seventh place, Cindy Van Lente, 1:59.03. Eighth place, Haley Gano, 1:59.13. Ninth, Emma DeRico, 1:59.55. And 10th place, Marion Delzile, 2 minutes, .36. Results from the girls' 50-yard backstroke. In first place, Madeline McGee with a time of 28.13. Second place, Madison Helmick, 28.57. Third place, Madeline Keegley, 28.71. Fourth place, Lily Diltz, 28.86. Fifth place, Hannah Higgins, 29.03. Sixth place, Emily Hess, 29.23. Seventh place, Allie Curry, 29.37. Eighth place, Lauren Hetman, 29.38. Ninth place, Cam Crosby, 29.73. And 10th place, Lauren Vinson, 29.75. Coming up next, we will have the girls' 200-yard IM. For those of you who are just sitting here watching and wondering if you've had a chance to print off the actual heat sheet, which on your live stream page there should be a link that you can copy and paste into another browser and then go ahead and print off those heat sheets. They have start times for each of the events, and as we had talked about earlier, Jason, girls really need some breaks, so the meet is really working on staying on schedule, and 8:45 is the start time for the 200 IM. So instead of starting earlier because we are done, they're giving them that break, and now we're just about ready to have this race.
And these are ladies that are very proficient in all 4 strokes, and so there's a chance that some of them might have been in the 200 and in the 50 back, and some of these events that are coming up next.
Just one heat in the 200-yard IM, which is curious to me. I'm curious as to why just one heat, but that really doesn't matter. What does matter is that the girls are in the water now. In lane 2, it's Maggie Merriman of Fort Meigs, Ohio. Lane 3, Avery Bills of Grand Traverse Bay, Michigan. Lane 4, Marissa Beckett of Putnam County, Ohio. Lane 5, Megan Clifford of Birmingham Family, Michigan, who has a festival time coming into this. Lane 6, Elise Randolph of Fort Meigs, Ohio. Lane 7, Haley Gano, Fort Meigs, Ohio. Lane 8, Samantha Clifford, Birmingham Family, Michigan. And Lane 9, Logan Kitchen, Kaufman Family, Ohio.
And this is always, again, a fascinating race because you can see the strengths and I don't want to say weaknesses because obviously at this level they're very good at all their strokes, but which strokes they're very, very, very comfortable with and very, very good with, and which strokes maybe they don't feel as strong. And you'll see them move back and forth in those strokes.
Yeah, the lead change can really happen fluidly because of that, especially when you get into the breaststroke. That seems to be a deciding factor when you see who's going to shape up where in the race.
Yeah, and I was surprised at only one heat as well, but I think that's a pretty even the B cut here is a pretty
The time,
time is pretty I don't want to use the word prohibitive, but I think you are really, really, really getting after it as a swimmer if you make that 2:21 time.
That is the B qualifying time, 2:21.09. The A qualifying time is a 2:16.09, and the festival qualifying time a 2:12.38. And I said we do have one festival qualifier. That is Megan Clifford in lane 5, who comes in with a seat time of 2:08.20. Our current leader is Haley Gano from Fort Meigs. Her seat time is a 2:13.45, so she is very close to that festival qualifying time.
Yep, and Elise Randolph is moving up. I think Elise, from what I can remember, her 2 best strokes were the breast and the free, and so she was kind of at the back of this first pack at the beginning, and she's working her way up and challenging for second.
Yeah.
Haley Gano does come in, does come in first place for Fort Meigs.
Actually, we are not sure. So if you want to contact us somehow and let us know, we will make sure we say it correctly. 2:13.65. She doesn't quite get that festival cut, but still a very good time for her first place finish. And second place ends up going to Putnam County's Marissa Beckett, 2:15.21. Second, third, and fifth place, all with just breaths, just tiny touches.
I always joke with my oldest daughter that where she finishes sometimes may depend on how long she has her nails that day.
Well, one of my daughters is 6'1", and we have discovered that there is a benefit to that because she knows in her mind if she is next to a swimmer who's shorter than her, and if she just reaches her arm longer, there is a chance that she is going to get that just by that tiny bit.
Sure. And
I can't say the same for Allison, your daughter.
No, I was just going to say
she's a phenomenal swimmer, but she is not 6'1".
She is the opposite. She is 5'3", so she knows that if she's there with somebody who's taller and got longer limbs, she's really going to have to push hard right through the finish.
So the start time for our next race, which is the 50 freestyle, is scheduled for 8:54 a.m. That means we are going to move into a break right now. You need to refresh your coffee, jump up and move around. Now is the time to do it, but make sure you're back by about 8:50-ish. We've got 10 heats of the 50 free coming up. We are back, and we are just about ready to start the 50-yard freestyle. We have 10 heats of this event, and the swimmers in Heat 1 are behind the blocks getting ready to go. Quick races here, so we're going to work really hard to make sure we get everybody's names in before they're done swimming. It could be a challenge.
It could be a very difficult challenge.
Maggie Merriman from lane 3 is in lane 3 from Fort Meigs, Ohio. Lane 4, Zoe Bailey, Cuyahoga, Ohio. Lane 5, Caitlin Iridanu, Greater Flint, Michigan. Lane 6, Carly Armine, Union County, Ohio. Lane 7, Audrey Force, Lenawee County, Michigan. And lane 8, Rihanna Turk, Cuyahoga, Ohio.
These sprints the starts are so important to get off to a good start and break the water and the breathing techniques. There's just so little difference between your fastest swimmer in these events and the slowest swimmer that tiny things can make a big difference. So it looks like lane 8 came in first. That would have been Rihanna Turk from Cuyahoga.
27.69 is her time.
So dropped a lot of time.
Very good. She should be very pleased with that. Heat number 2 out of 10. In lane 2, it's Lainey Johnson of Greater Indianapolis, Indiana. Lane 3, Alexandria Wires, Kaufman Family, Ohio. Lane 4, Allison McDaniel, Ridgewood Branch, Ohio. Lane 5, Rachel Gozinski, Kaufman Family, Ohio. Lane 6, Grace Shakel, Whitley County, Indiana. Lane 7, Madison Farage, Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 8, Michaela Hanna, Northeast Family, Kentucky. Lane 9, Emma Page, Wabash County, Indiana.
And it looks like lane 7 is coming in at the turn here, just ahead of everybody else. See if she can hold on to that lead. That was Madison Farage. Is that how you say it? Hopefully. But it looks like lane 5 is maybe pulling ahead here. Rachel from Kaufman Family YMCA.
And she is the winner. 27.32 is her time. Second place, 27.37 up in lane 3. Heat 3 has Josie Weiss from Springfield Family, Ohio in lane 2. Stella Tucker, R.C. Durr Family, Ohio, lane 3. Allison Diller, Lima, Ohio, lane 4. Eden Gray, Benton Harbor, Michigan, lane 5. Caitlin Rossifer, Wapakoneta, YMCA, Ohio, lane 6. Caitlin Slowinski, Myers Lake, Ohio, lane 7. Taylor Knott, Putnam County, Ohio, lane 8. And Katie Phillips, Lima, Ohio, lane 9.
So it looks like lane 3 right now. Stella Tucker from R.C. Durr Family YMCA is in the lead.
And she had that strong finish. You saw she just kind of dove in right there. 26.30 is her time, first place. 26.30. Heat 4, lane 2, Sophia Floros, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 3, Lainey McDaniels, Cuyahoga, Ohio. Lane 4, Emily Hess, Lenawee County, Michigan. Lane 5, Avery Bowers, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 8, Elena Rindler, Dark County, Ohio. Lane 7, Lily Rice, R.C. Durr Family, Ohio. Lane 8, Ali Galetka, Youngstown, Ohio. And lane 9, Paige Cole, Lima, Ohio.
And Elena Rindler had a great start out of Dark County. Let's see if she can hold on to that lead. There's going to be some people moving up on her here. Very close, about 4 swimmers right there.
Between lanes 5, 6. Oh, it was lane 3. First place, lane 3, Lainey McDaniels with a time of 26.6. Heat 5, lane 2, Kayla Reich, Wabash County, Indiana. Lane 3, Jackie Palusak, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 4, Lauren Vinson, Lancaster, Ohio. Lane 5, Abby Beck, Lima, Ohio. Lane 6, Allie Curry, North Lexington, Kentucky. Lane 7, Naomi Maggard, Springfield, Ohio. Lane 8, Valerie Hoppus, Rapid Area, Michigan. Lane 9, Jessica Rowe, Birmingham Family, Michigan.
Allie Curry with a big underwater start there right next to Abby Beck. Allie is pulling out ahead a little bit here from North Lexington Family in Kentucky.
And she hits first with a time of 26.12 is the winning time in this heat.
Heat number 6.
Heat number 6, lane 2, Presley Bodine, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 3, Emma Dickhood, Birmingham, Michigan. Lane 4, Hannah Higgins, North Canton, Ohio. Lane 5, Caroline Klimek, Whitley County, Indiana. Lane 6, Logan Kitchen, Kaufman Family, Ohio. Lane 7, Elizabeth Gessler, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 8, Olivia Castellanova, Cuyahoga, Ohio. And lane 9, Catherine Williams, Ridgewood Branch, Ohio.
So in the center of the pool here in lane 6 and lane 7, those two are battling first place. Looks like lane 6, Logan Kitchen is pulled ahead from Kaufman Family.
25.70 is the winning time for this heat.
And that was again Logan Kitchen from Kaufman Family YMCA.
Heat number 7 out of 10. Lane 2, Estela Grasso, Greater Flint, Michigan. Lane 3, Madeline Keegley, Benton Harbor, Michigan. Lane 4, Madeline McGee, Rapid Area, Michigan. Lane 5, Lauren Lewers, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Ooh,
just had a false start here, I think, out of lane 3. I'm not sure, that's unfortunate. And lane 4 then went in, or lane 2, excuse me, went in after that.
So looks like they're not going to DQ them. They're going to give them a chance to swim.
I think there is an official actually that just went over, unfortunately.
That is rough. Oh, man. Unfortunate for her. Here's your racers again. In lane 2, it's Estela Grasso. Lane 4, Madeline McGee. Lane 5, Lauren Lewers. Lane 6, Erin Haggerty, Grand Traverse Bay, Michigan. Lane 7, Janie Clayton, Union County, Ohio. Lane 8, Ainsley Bump, Wapakoneta, Ohio. And lane 9, Sydney Van Lente, Rapid Area, Michigan.
So at the turn, there about every single swimmer in lanes 9 through 4 are right there. Looks like lane 4 is coming in so far in the front. That is Madeline McGee.
And she hit first, Madeline McGee, with a time of 25.62. Heat 8 out of 10. In lane 2, it's Abby Christian from Ashland area, Kentucky. Lane 3, Alika Daniels, Union County, Ohio. Lane 4, Emily Harness, Lancaster, Ohio. Lane 5, Abby Warnicki, Putnam County, Ohio. Lane 6, Riley Brown, Springfield, Ohio. Lane 7, Addie Newman, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 8, Hannah Deegan, Birmingham Family, Michigan. And lane 9, McKenna Garn, Lancaster, Ohio.
So at the turn, it looked like lane 7, Addie Newman from Wapakoneta, had a slight lead, but again, the pack is catching up. Lanes 1, 2, but they're packed there together pretty tightly. But it looks like she's going to be able to hold on.
I think she is, yeah. 25.44. A .02 time drop, which is a time drop.
We take
any time drop we can get. Addison Newman from Wapakoneta, 25.44. Lane Heat 9. In lane 2, it's Carly Oldfield from Lima, Ohio. Lane 3, Amelie Blakely, Fort Meigs, Ohio. Lane 4, Marion Dalziel, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 5, Kristen Belden, Myers Lake, Ohio. Lane 6, Grace Beck, Lima, Ohio. Lane 7, Lily Higgins, Birmingham, Michigan. Lane 8, Emma Jernovics, Kaufman Family, Ohio. Lane 9, Claire Ackerman, Beaumont Center Family. And in lanes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, they've all already swam festival qualifying times.
Bunch of ladies turning right there at the wall, coming off the wall. It looks like maybe lane 5 has a little bit of an advantage, Kristen Belden, but there's some competition here in lane 8.
Oh, look at that, lane 8. Lane 8 came out from behind and
Emma
made it happen. 25.12 was your final. That's lane 8.
This is heat number 10.
Final heat here. This is going to be a very fast heat.
In lane 2, it's Annie Richters of Springfield Family, Ohio. Lane 3, Madison Helmick, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 4, Lauren Ryle, Rapid Area, Michigan. Lane 5, Amy Pan, Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 6, Sabina Bradford, Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 7, Annabelle Nixon, North Canton Community. Lane 8, Olivia Elgin, Green Family. And lane 9, Colleen Cox, Dark County. Every single one of these swimmers have already swam the festival qualifying time, which is a 25.18. But these swimmers are all in the 24s and 23s.
Teammates there in lane 5 and 6 from Farmington. They Again, have a pretty good program going. It looks like Amy Pan is coming in here with the lead. Very, very close group coming in second. It's hard to tell, but I think Amy Pan is going to hold on to that lead in lane 5.
23.88 is her time. Congratulations to her. Second place, right next to her, 24.73 from Sabina Branford.
And once again, if the participants for the 100 butterfly will please make their way to
some results to bring to you as we have a short break. Just a few minutes before the 100 fly starts. It's scheduled to start at 9:08. In the 50-yard back, first place. Actually, I think I may have already read these results to you, but I'll give you the top 5 quickly. Madeline McGee, first place. Second place, Madison Helmick. Third place, Madeline Keegley. Fourth place, Lily Diltz. Fifth place, Hannah Higgins. Sixth place, Emily Hess. We'll move on now to the 200-yard IM. Which it looks like Meet Mobile hasn't completely categorized this. But based off of the times, if you're looking at Meet Mobile, you'll see exactly what I'm seeing right now. And Megan Clifford, first place finish in a time of 2. Take that back.
Yeah. Mine shows Haley Gano.
Okay, so yours is updated. Mine hasn't.
We won't get into an iPhone Android conversation. We'll keep that maybe for a different.
He does have an Android. I have an iPhone, so
usually I'm
apparently,
behind.
In this rare moment, your phone is doing better.
I will not argue.
Haley Gano with a 2:13.65. She's from Fort Meigs. Marissa Beck from Putnam County, 2:15.21. Second place, Elise Randolph, Fort Meigs, 2:15.28. Third place, Megan Clifford, fourth place, 2:15.39. Avery Bills, fifth place, 2:15.57. And Samantha Clifford, sixth place, 2:20.89.
One of the things I was interested in and looking at during one of the breaks is, again, we're familiar with a lot of these Northwest Ohio teams, but we saw Wheeling, West Virginia swim previously, and a lot of Michigan teams in Kentucky. So I was just kind of curious as to what some of the distances people were traveling, and I think, and I don't know if anybody can find a way to correct me, but one of the Grand Traverse Bay, Michigan, it looked like had the farthest drive at about 4.5 hours. So that's a lot of dedication for these ladies. I'm sure they probably came up last night, spent the night, but we were lucky enough. We're only about 40 minutes away. So while it was an early morning at 6 o'clock to get up and drive here, a lot of these local swimmers were able to stay in their own beds and keep their own schedules. But it's tough. And while they're used to it for some of these big meets, it's tough sometimes to, sleep in a hotel bed or sleep in a strange place and then get up early in the morning. So I'm really appreciative of their efforts so far.
Right, and our family did the opposite. You had your family at home. We did opt for the hotel route, even though we are only an hour away. But I was commentating last night and just elected not to drive home. And just like you said, we had to be really quiet this morning. It was we usually try to get a suite just so that we have that break, but we didn't have that. And a lot of swimmers, actually saw a lot of swimmers in the hotel. The hotels are full of swimmers this weekend.
And it's great to have a facility like Bowling Green to be able to have not only the facility to be able to swim here, but have all these local hotels and places that you can go and stay and accommodate an event like this. I think we had talked earlier about the number of swimmers here, and maybe we'll get back to that later after this heat.
That's right. So we're starting just a little bit early. 9:08 is with the expected time. It is 9:06. And our swimmers are in the water for the first of 2 heats in the 100-yard butterfly. In lane 4, it's Paige Cole from Lima, Ohio. Lane 5, Claire Ackerman from Beaumont Center, Kentucky. Lane 6, Katie Phillips from Lima, Ohio. And lane 7, Madison Farage from Farmington Family, Michigan. Current leader is Claire Ackerman out of Kentucky. She stayed in a hotel last night, I bet.
I would guess so.
The qualifying time to get into this race, the B qualifying time was a 1:04.19, the A qualifying time a 1:01.19, and the festival qualifying time, which we've got a few of those coming up in the next heat, is a 59.86. Back in 2013, Courtney Weaver of Greater Flint swam this race in 53.35.
That is moving.
104.3 is the winning time for Claire Ackerman from Beaumont Center Family, Kentucky. Heat number 2 of 2 in the 100-yard butterfly. Lane 2, Jessica Rowe of Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 3, Lauren Taylor, Greater Flint, Michigan. Lane 4, Claire Bajornio of Grand Traverse Bay, Michigan. Lane 5, Megan Clifford, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 6, Emma Derico, Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 7, Annie Reichters, Springfield Family, Ohio. Lane 8, Lily Diltz, Youngstown, Ohio. And Lane 9, Mags Marodi, Wheeling, West Virginia.
The 100 butterfly seems like such a tough event, and maybe it's just my kids, but I had 3 swimmers at a variety of levels, and I think they would all rather do just about anything than the 100 fly, especially my older swimmer. I think she said she would rather do the mile than do the 100 fly. So I think this is a tough race for people to swim.
It is an all-out sprint, but it takes such power to be able to keep the body moving in the way that's necessary for the butterfly. Now, your kids swim USA. Mine also swim USA. Then there's the 200 fly long course. Now that
takes some power and commitment. I think my kids would probably fake an injury or fake sickness if I tried to enter them in one of those events.
I did see one girl. I will not name her. She's graduated and gone. Great swimmer. But the first time she ever had to swim the 200 fly long course, she switched to freestyle in the last 10 yards. But we're not advocating for that.
Yeah.
She never did it again.
Great swim there by Claire.
Lane 4, 58.61 is her time. So she dropped. She came in with a 59.76, 58.61, which is really impressive for these high schoolers when you think about how many tapers they've gone through. Their high school taper, then a district's taper, some of them a state taper, and now they're here again doing this.
Please make your way to the bullpen.
Yes, that is a difficult thing for a lot of these high school athletes, and I'm not familiar with Michigan or Kentucky or Indiana and how they work their state finals, but for our swimmers in Ohio, if they are a state level swimmer, they've had to go through sectionals, district, state, and you taper for that, and then maybe a week or two later you end up with your YMCA League Championship meet, so you got to build your volume back up and then taper again. And then, here we are 2 weeks later at the zones meet, and I'm assuming there's some building up and tapering. And then if you're a great swimmer and you happen to make a national time, that's another 2 or 3 weeks away. So you've got to find a way to keep your volume up, but then still work on getting faster and faster and faster. And I guess that's where the difference in all the sports come. I know how to do that a little bit in track, but swimming, I'm assuming, is significantly different than what that would be.
And as I watched at our Y Championships a couple weeks ago, and now I'm watching again, and some of these swimmers are swimming some great times, but then if you check Meet Mobile, you're going to see a lot of these high school swimmers that have added in their times. And I think a lot of that comes from that because they geared up for that moment, and now it's just really tough to get them right back into that prime spot again. If they're doing other sports, if they've got other things happening.
Absolutely. And I think there are probably a lot of different mindsets coming into this meet too. There are swimmers who are very close to the festival times. Swimmers who are very close to the festival times and are working towards those festival times, and there are swimmers who are, hey, this is the culmination of all my hard work for the season, and I'm going to try to work and try to do that. But, maybe I'm running track, or I'm playing lacrosse, or I'm doing club soccer, and so maybe I don't have time to dedicate. I see some swimmers with some festival cuts already that have not dropped time, and they may be actually building up and tapering for that festival. Hey, I've already got the time. I'm just going to keep working for that goal, and I'd like to do as well as I can at zones, but I know I don't have to drop time to make it. So I think there's probably a lot of different mindsets there in the way they approach this meet.
And in this meet, coming up next, it's going to be the 50-yard breaststroke. It is slated to begin at 9:18, which means we've got about 6 minutes before we go. There's going to be 4 heats of this event. So here's another real quick opportunity, quick bathroom break. Row and grab your coffee. Make a quick egg for breakfast. I keep forgetting it's still really early in the morning.
Still very early in the morning.
Here's your 50 free results. First place, Amy Pan with a time of 23.88. Second place, Annabelle Nixon, 24.73. Third place, Lauren Ryle, 24.77. Fourth place, Olivia Elgin, 24.85. Fifth place, Sabina Branford, 25.07. Sixth place, Emma Jernovics, 25.12. Seventh place, Madison Helmick, 25.22. Eighth place, Colleen Cox, 25.82. Ninth place, Addison Newman, 25.44. And 10th place, Marion Dalziel, 25.46.
Once again, the participants for the 50 breaststroke, please make their way to the bullpen area. Participants for the 50 breaststroke, please make their way to the bullpen area, please. This is the 50 breaststroke.
If she was to make a
One
call,
of four.
there would be an intensity to it. We are back. It's time for the 50-yard breaststroke. This is heat 1 of 4. In lane 3, Abby Beck of Lima, Ohio. Lane 4, Allie Butts of Whitley County, Indiana. Lane 5, Katie Phillips of Lima, Ohio. Lane 6, Stella Tucker, R.C. Durr Family, Ohio. And lane 7, Hava Bailey, Cuyahoga, Ohio.
Our official clock must be a little fast because I have about 9:16, so we got up on the blocks a little sooner than what we had anticipated. Which is, 2 minutes probably isn't going to make that big of a difference, but it certainly is a little shorter than what they thought. So lane 6 coming in here first, Stella Tucker from R.C. Durr Family in YMCA in Ohio.
34:37 was her time. She did get a little bit of a time drop there. Her seat time was a 34.93, and she swam a 34.37. In heat 2 of 4 in this 50-yard breaststroke, Lily Rice from R.C. Durr Family YMCA in lane 2. In lane 3, it's Allie Galetka, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 4, Allison Diller, Lima, Ohio. Lane 5, Julie Basista, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 6, Anna Ackerman Beaumont Center, Kentucky. Lane 7, Kensington Cup, Putnam County, Ohio. Lane 8, Michaela Hanna, Northeast Family, YMCA, Kentucky. And lane 9, Alexandria Wires, Kaufman Family, Ohio.
So it looks like lane 5, I believe, coming in here first so far, leading Julie from Youngstown, Ohio, but being challenged here at the end. Out in lane 9, and it's going to be a close finish.
Lane 5, 33.09 is her time, and that is Julie Basista from Youngstown, Ohio. Moving on to heat 3 of 4. In lane 2, it's Grace Turflinger of Lancaster, Ohio. Lane 3, Eden Gray, Benton Harbor, Michigan. Lane 4, Jackie Paulusak, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 5, Elizabeth Gessler, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 6, Marissa Beckett, Putnam County, Ohio. Lane 7, Molly Gregory, Union County, Ohio. Lane 8, Elena Rindler, Dark County, Ohio. And lane 9, Leah Granis, Limestone Family, Kentucky.
I think the difference in styles in these breaststroke events is fairly interesting. There's the same general concept, but the way that the coaches apply them with their kids and the way the kids take those is something that's definitely very different from swimmer to swimmer.
I have not figured out what is the breaststroke style because we see success in many things. That's Elizabeth Gessler in lane 5, finishing in first place. The senior from Wapakoneta, Ohio, finishing a time of 32.49. And our final heat now, lane 2, Janie Clayton of Union County, Ohio. Lane 3, Addison Newman, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 4, Presley Bodine, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 5, Lauren Lewers, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 6, Olivia Elgin, Green Family. Lane 7, Gwen Thomas, Springfield Family, Ohio. Lane 8, McKenna Garn, Lancaster, Ohio. And lane 9, Naomi Maggard, Springfield, Ohio. In order to be able to be in this heat, the B zone qualifying time was a 35.09 and the A zone qualifying time was a 33.09.
And a lot of these, unless your clubs are a little bit different or your YMCAs are a little different, they don't normally swim this in a normal YMCA meet or in a high school meet. So sometimes these are extra events. Sometimes if they're in USA swimming, they may swim these at some of the USA meets. So these are a little different. You can actually qualify for these off of your first 50 from your 100-meter stroke as well. It looks like lane 5 came in first place.
That's Lauren Lewers, a time of 30.55. 30.55. Second place goes to Olivia Elgin with a time of 30.83.
Participants for the 100 free, please make your way.
Our next race will be the 100-yard freestyle. The announcer has called the swimmers to the blocks, so we expect, our sheet says this will start at 9:27. It's currently 9:20. So if you plan to jump away, I say be back by 9:25.
That would probably be a good estimate. Yeah, they seem to be running about 2 minutes fast.
Congratulations, Claire Bonjour.
Hello, I'm Steve Shive, District Vice President for the YMCA of Greater Toledo. I want to welcome everyone to the 2021 All-Star Zones Swim Championships. I want to take a special thanks to all of our swimmers today who have qualified for the meet. You all have endured a lot of trials, challenges throughout the last year, and I praise you for all the work you've done to qualify for today. I also want to take a moment to thank our parents of all the swimmers who have invested their time, effort, and resources in their kids to allow them to come to this level. Also, I want to thank you for your continued support of the YMCA. Without you, we would not be able to do our work and serve the community as we do. Good luck, everyone, and have a great meet.
That's the 100 freestyle. This will be heat number 1 of 7.
Here we go with the 100-yard freestyle heat, 1 of 7. 3 swimmers in this heat. In lane 4, it's J.C. King of Battle Creek, Michigan. Lane 5, Lainey Johnson of Grady, Indianapolis, Indiana. And lane 6, Abby Beck of Lima, Ohio.
So we're hitting the first of 7 heats, like you had said. And again, these are hundreds, and so we're going to go 2 lengths of the pool, but they're going to go pretty quickly because, again, these are some great swimmers that are here today. So.
That's right. These are sprints. You know, people don't really. You talk about track. That was my sport, running, and I always think of this as like the 400.
Yes.
This is grit. This is going, especially at this point. You just have to keep at it. And right now we've got Abby Beck in the lead at the moment, and I just should let you know that it happens to be my daughter, and I just sent her a text and said, hey, why don't you swim for donuts? Which is not very healthy, but
maybe motivating.
She motivated her.
It's interesting what motivates different kids. My oldest daughter is swimming not in the 100, but hers would be ice cream. So that's hey, let's swim for ice cream. And I'm sure if there's a Cold Stone Creamery around the corner here, I'm sure if it's open at 10:30 this morning, she may want to stop for ice cream after today's meet. But probably won't happen. Maybe later on this afternoon.
101.88 is your first place finish time in this heat, and that is Abby Beck from Lima, Ohio. She's my swimmer who will swim for food, and then my other daughter is a swimmer who swims for. She always wants things like Reebok shoes, and you know, for some reason it's much more expensive. I know, I'm a mom. I can say no. But anyway, all right, let's move on. Heat 2 of 7. Lane 2, it's Lainey McDaniels from Cuyahoga, Ohio. Lane 3, Madison Farage, Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 4, Avery Bowers, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 5, Brianna Turk, Cuyahoga, Ohio. Lane 6, Sophia Floros, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 7, Maggie Merriman, Fort Meigs, Ohio. And Lane 8, Olivia Castellanova, Cuyahoga, Ohio.
So there's a number of swimmers here grouped very closely heading into the first 50 in lane 2, lane 4, 5, and 8. So we'll see how they separate themselves out in the second 50.
You know, really that first 50 really is going to be an indicator of how well that person swims overall. I know I mentioned my other daughter, and 100 is one of her key races. And she always talked about the mental. You have to get past the mental fact that you get out and you push so much in the first 50 that you're still going to have it left over for the second 50.
Yep, absolutely. And those turns, again, maybe not quite as important. Avery Bauer from Wapak finishing there in first place.
And she dropped time. She's going to be thrilled with that. A 57.65 is her finish time there. Congratulations to her. The only swimmer to stay below the minute mark. As we talked before, we've had a lot of swimmers with a lot of tapers. So you may have seen some of the key times a couple weeks ago as they're adjusting into the next part of their athletics. Heat 3 of 7. Lane 2, Kayla Reich, Wabash County, Indiana. Lane 3, Valerie Hoppes, Rapid Area, Michigan. Lane 4, Janie Clayton, Union County, Ohio. Lane 5, Abby Warnicki, Putnam County, Ohio. Lane 6, Kate Herr, Kaufman Family, Ohio. Lane 7, Ainsley Bump, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 8, Allie Curry, North Lexington, Kentucky. And Lane 9, Estella Grasso, Greater Flint, Michigan. Estella, I'm not sure if we're supposed to do this Hispanic pronunciation or which one.
Very difficult at times with these heat sheets. Out here in lane 9, looks like
she's got the.
Yeah,
but
that's very close.
Very close. Lane 5, Abby Warnicki may have the advantage at the moment.
And it looks like she's pulling away here a little bit.
Abby Warnicki from Putnam County, Ohio, 57.13 is her finish time. Second place is out there in lane 9, Estella Grasso, 58.33.
Heat number 4.
Heat 4 of 7. In lane 2, it's Caroline Klimek of Whitley County, Indiana. Lane 3, Catherine Williams of Ridge Branch, Ohio. Lane 4, Logan Kitchen of Kaufman Family, Ohio. Lane 5, Aaron Haggerty of Grand Traverse Bay, Michigan. Lane 6, Abby Christian, Ashland area, Kentucky. Lane 7, Alyssa Calloway, Farmington Family, Michigan. And lane 9, Naomi Maggard, Springfield Family, Ohio.
Lane 5, Abby Christian. 6, Alyssa Calloway is in lane 7, and Naomi Maggard.
My youngest swimmer is a 10-year-old, and one of the things, working on the 50s and on the 100s that these younger girls and boys start to get into is trying to work on their breath control and trying to work on when to breathe and how to breathe and when it's appropriate. And it's so interesting to see the evolution of these younger swimmers that, maybe you're swimming every stroke or, breathing into their turns and out of their turns, and then how they get to this elite level at 15 and over, and you see all those things occurring. They're taking breaths every 3 or 4 strokes. They're not breathing from the flags in. They're taking several strokes coming out of the wall, and so it's interesting to see how those things end up working.
Alyssa Calloway is your first place finisher with a time of 56.25. Second place goes to Abby Christian with a time of 56.52. Heat number 5 of 7. In lane 2, Lacey Langmeyer of Wheeling, West Virginia. Lane 3, Taylor Knott, Putnam County, Ohio. Lane 4, Alika Daniels, Union County, Ohio. Lane 5, Casey Sanders, Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 6, Amelie Blakely, Fort Meigs, Ohio. Lane 7, Sydney Van Lente, Rapid Area, Michigan. Lane 8, Lily Higgins, Birmingham Family, Michigan. And Lane 9, Emma Jernovics, Kaufman Family, Ohio.
Jernovics in lane number 9. Participants for the 100 next.
Again, as a lot of the swim families probably know, these swimmers are grouped by times, and typically the interior lanes are the faster times, and as you work out farther and farther, the times get a little bit slower and slower. But you can see, again, with the training or with the tapering or wherever these athletes are at, and there's such close competition that, like in lane 2,
Lane 2 and 9 are both
doing very, very well.
Yeah.
And they may finish first and second, respectively.
And they did. That's kind of always a surprise because the middle lanes have vantage points around them. It can't necessarily see what's going on in the outside lane. And it is lane 2 with a first place finish of a 55.41. She should be pleased to see a time drop there. And out in lane 9, that's your second place with a time of 55.60.
Again, also a nice time drop.
Heat 6 of 7. Lane 2, it's Emma Decoot of Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 3, Marion Dalziel, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 4, Elise Randolph, Fort Meigs, Ohio. Lane 5, Colleen Cox, Dark County, Ohio. Lane 6, Kristen Belden, Myers Lake, Ohio. Lane 7, Emily Harness, Lancaster, Ohio. Lane 8, Annie Richter, Springfield, Ohio. And lane 9, Alexis Myhope, Youngstown, Ohio. Missing is lane 3. Marion Dalziel. Now, we have said her name multiple times, so she has been swimming, but perhaps could be similar to my daughter Grace, who was supposed to swim in this race, had to leave and be on a lacrosse field in less than an hour, so off she went and wasn't able to swim this race.
Let's see, lanes 4 and 5, it looks like, coming in here for the last turn, almost neck and neck, Elise Randolph and Colleen Cox. Fort Meigs and Dark County. So Elise looks like she's pulling away just a little bit here, coming into the flags. And looks like she'll hold on to that lead, taking first place.
Elise Randolph is having a, I don't have a lot of knowledge, but it appears to me she's having a really good meet. She swam last night and was solid and was strong, and we're seeing her again today, finishing first place in this heat with a time of 55.11. And now lane 7, or heat 7 out of 7. These are all festival qualifying times already. In lane 2, it's Megan Clifford of the Birmingham Family YMCA out of Michigan. Lauren Lures, lane 3, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 4, Sabina Brantford, Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 5, Samantha Clifford, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 6, Olivia Elgin, Green Family. Lane 7, Hannah Deegan, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 8, Annabelle Nixon, North Canton Community, Ohio. And lane 9, Emma DeRico, Farmington Family, Michigan. Now we're down into the 53s, 52s, and 51 times. So I'm really curious to see what the splits here. When you're swimming a 55, you're typically swimming about a 26 split at your first 50. But these girls are moving it down even quicker. 25-85.
So
fastest split there.
They are moving. Interesting to note that the meet record is a 50-12, which is putting on the afterburners, and that record has stood for more than 40 years. So Beth Washut
from Ashtabula set back in 1980, 50.12.
So lane 6 is coming in for the win, Olivia Elgin, and followed relatively closely in lane 5 by Samantha Clifford.
So 53.08 is the time for Olivia in lane 6, and Samantha Clifford with a time of 53.7.
And once again, the participants for the 100 backstroke.
And that completes the 100 freestyle. Our next race will be the 100 backstroke, which is scheduled to start in about 5 minutes. So we'll have a short break, and then we'll be back with the 4 heats of the 100 back.
Here they are, the final results on the 50 breaststroke. 8th place, congratulations, Elizabeth Gessler. 7th place went to Naomi Mayer. 6th place to Gwen Thomas. Annie Newman placed 5th. Jeannie Clayton placed 4th. And Presley Bodine placed 3rd. 2nd place went to Olivia Elgin. And the winner in placing first with a time of 30.55 from Birmingham Family Life YMCA. number 1 of 4.
Heat 1 of 4 in the 100-yard backstroke. We have in lane 3, Jessica Rowe of Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 4, Taylor Knott of Putnam County, Ohio. Lane 5, Abby Christian, Ashland area, Kentucky. Lane 6, Allie Curry, North Lexington Family, Kentucky. Lane 7, Emma Jernovics, Kaufman Family, Ohio. And lane 8, JC King of Battle Creek, Michigan. In order to get into this race, you needed to swim a time of 105.49. That is a B cut. 102.49 is the A cut. And 1 minute flat, .27 is the festival time. And we do have 6 festival qualifiers that will be with us in lane 4. If anybody really wants to be really speedy today, the record is 54.80, set back in 2014 by Maggie Miller of Harrison County, West Virginia.
That is moving incredibly quickly on the backstroke. Again, it's sort of interesting with swimmers at a variety of levels. You know, my youngest one started out when she was really little with the backstroke, and you know, I said, well, why do you want to swim the backstroke? She said, well, I can breathe when I swim. and you think that, and you know, again, their faces are above water, but there are so many technical details in the backstroke that while it seems like a great option for a beginning swimmer, to really swim it well, you've got to be able to do a number of things, very technical oriented.
And that was a close finish. Was it lane 5 or lane 3? It was lane 3. Jessica Rowe from Birmingham Family, Michigan, with a time of 107.12.
And one of those technical things is the finish. You know, you see a variety of different finishes, and I think I saw the first 2 placers. They went under to finish for less surface friction, but then you've got to stay on your back technically, so a lot of them stick their foot up in the air, so you'll see a lot of finishes where the swimmer's body is almost completely underwater.
Because they have to have one part of them out of the water,
one part out of the water, and so, you know, that's something technical that, you know, if you're a beginning swimmer, you might not think about so much, and obviously as they get older, they get DQ'd and they learn more. They learn those little tricks for the backstroke.
Heat 2 of 4, this is the 100-yard backstroke. In lane 2, it's Catherine Williams, Ridgewood Branch, Ohio. Lane 3, Kate Herr, Kaufman Family, Ohio. Lane 4, Josie Weiss, Springfield Family, Ohio. Lane 5, Lacey Langmeyer, Wheeling, West Virginia. Lane 6, Alika Daniels, Union County, Ohio. Lane 7, Cam Crosby, Grand Traverse Bay, Michigan. Lane 8, Emily Harness, Lancaster, Ohio. And lane 9, Molly Gregory, Union County, Ohio. You know, Jason, my daughters, my one daughter, I have 3 swimmers, and they all swam backstroke, but there was always a point where they kind of quit focusing on it. So none of them are superstar backstrokers. But I would say to them, well, that looks like the easy stroke, because you just on your back and you just go. And
kicking in your arms.
They would give me this look, especially after the 100 back. Like, you have no idea how much energy I just exerted in order to be able to do that.
Yes, it is a lot. And a lot of people, again, I know most of the families that are listening are probably experienced swim families, but you don't windmill your arms all the way under the water. You bring your arm into the water and then you shoot it down the side. So there's a lot going on underneath the water that you don't always see.
Lacey Langmeyer, lane 5 from Wheeling, West Virginia. Your first place finish with a time of 1:02.68. You can tell we are definitely at an elite meet, because anytime you've got swims that are so close to a minute, you have fast swimmers.
Yes.
Heat number 3 of 4. In lane 2, Allison McDaniel of Ridgewood Branch, Ohio. Lane 3, Alexis Myhoke, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 4, Lauren Hetman, Kaufman Family, Ohio. Lane 5, Riley Brown, Springfield, Ohio. Lane 6, Alyssa Calloway, Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 7, Hannah Higgins, North Canton Community. Lane 8, Emily Hess, Lenawee County, Michigan. And lane 9, Madeline Keegley, Benton Harbor, Michigan.
And again, a wide variety of starts and a wide variety of techniques. In lane 7, she stays underwater a long, long time coming off the wall.
I was just going to mention, underwater and backstroke can have a definite benefit. You watch, you might see a lot of these swimmers trying to make it, especially when they start, almost to the halfway point in that underwater.
And again, it has to do with friction and surface tension and all these forces acting against you as you're swimming. And so if you stay underwater, those are a little bit less. But it's definitely something that takes a long time to master.
Check out Madeline Keegley down there in lane 9. She comes in with a time of 103.04. She is the leader in this pack in this heat.
And
nice time drop there.
Yeah, great time.
101.54, the first place time for her. Second place was in lane 6. That's Alyssa Calloway with a time of 102.23.
And with backstroke, it's even hard to look around. With freestyle, you can breathe and check out your competition. With backstroke, it's really hard to do that. And you shouldn't do that, actually, as a swimmer. So you just got to go and look up at the ceiling and swim as fast as you can, and hopefully you're coming in first.
Heat 4 of 4. In lane 2, it's Madeline McGee of Rapid Area, Michigan. Lane 3, Avery Bills of Grand Traverse Bay, Michigan. Lane 4, Samantha Clifford, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 5, Amy Pan, Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 6, Lauren Ryle, Rapid Area, Michigan. Lane 7, Madison Helmick, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 8, Haley Gano, Fort Meigs, Ohio. And lane 9, Carly Oldfield, Lima, Ohio. Festival timed qualifiers in lanes 3 through 8, meaning they have qualified for the upcoming virtual national championships.
And even lanes 2 and 9 are very, very, very close. So with good swims today, they may be able to qualify themselves. So I'm sure that's something that they had in mind on the way here. Amy Pan taking the early lead at the 50.
Now, we haven't talked anything about tech suits, and Jason, I'm sure you don't want to really talk fashionable tech suits here, but I have noticed from a technical standpoint, Amy Pan's wearing the closed back suit, which you don't see as often as the other suits. And I believe that backstrokers, you may see more high-speed backstrokers in that because it has a tendency, something with the drag on the back with the water.
Yeah, that's what the one event that they really recommend those for is that backstroke, the closed back suits. And they're harder to find, too, in spite of being, as well as being incredibly expensive technical suits in general.
And as a parent who's put on a lot of tech suits on girls, I can say they can be harder to put on as well.
I have not had to have that experience. My wife takes care of that, but I will take your word. I know for the boys at times, even some of those tech suits can be difficult to get on, and they're half the material that the girls have.
55.84 is the top swimming time, and that is Amy Pan. Second place was up in lane 2, Madeline McGee with a time of 59.69. That completes the 100-yard backstroke. Our next event will be the 50-yard butterfly, scheduled to start about 9:53. We're seeming to run a couple minutes ahead, so probably around 9:50 or 9:51 is when we will be back with the 50-yard butterfly.
Hello, I'm Steve Shive, District Vice President for the YMCA of Greater Toledo. I want to welcome everyone to the 2021 All-Star Zones Swim Championships. I want to take a special thanks to all of our swimmers today who have qualified for the meet. You all have endured a lot of trials, challenges throughout the last year, and I praise you for all the work you've done to qualify for today. I also want to take a moment to thank our parents of all the swimmers who have invested their time, effort, and resources in their kids to allow them to come to this level. Also, I want to thank you for your continued support of the YMCA. Without you, we would not be able to do our work and serve the community as we do. Good luck, everyone, and have a great meet.
Our next event is the 50 butterfly. This will be heat number 1 of 4.
It's time now for the girls' 50-yard butterfly. This is heat 1 of 4. In lane 4, it's Abby Beck of Lima, Ohio. In lane 5, it's Logan Kitchen of Kaufman, Ohio. And in lane 6, it's Emma Page of Wabash, Indiana.
In lane number 4, we have Abby Beck, Logan Kitchen in 6, and Emma Page.
And again, this is kind of an unusual race for a lot of these swimmers because they would not do this in their high school meets, and at least in a lot of local YMCA meets, it's not a normal event. So they might qualify for this off of the leadoff 50 of 100, or maybe the IM, or some other race that they might have.
Well, and a little interestingly different in this meet. Oh, I'll tell about that in a moment. Here's your results. First place, 29.38, and that belongs to Logan Kitchen.
Nice time
and
drop.
A nice time drop there for her. Heat 2 of 4. In lane 2, it's Valerie Hops of Rapid Area, Michigan. Lane 3, Avery Bowers of Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 4, Katie Phillips of Lima, Ohio. Lane 5, Zoe Bailey of Cuyahoga, Ohio. Lane 6, Stella Tucker of R.C. Durr, Ohio. Lane 7, Caitlin Rosserfer of Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 8, Audrey Force of Lenawee County, Michigan. And lane 9, Lainey Johnson of Greater Indianapolis, Indiana. I have to admit, Jason, I started talking in the last one, forgetting it's a 50. I don't have a lot of time to talk
so
here.
Fast. Yeah, lane 4 looks like she's coming in first, Katie Phillips from Lima, Ohio.
Good job to her. That's Katie Phillips with a time of 28.52. Came in with a seed time of 29.45, so she should be pleased with that over a second time drop there.
Heat number 3.
Heat number 3 of 4. Lane 2, Abby Warnicki of Putnam County, Ohio. Lane 3, Lainey McDaniels of Cuyahoga, Ohio. Lane 4, Jessica Rowe of Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 5, Allie Galekta, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 6, Cam Crosby, Grand Traverse Bay, Michigan. Lane 7, Madeline Keegley of Benton Harbor, Michigan. Lane 8, Paige Cole of Lima, Ohio. And Lane 9, Lauren Vinson of Lancaster.
So early lead for Madeline Keegley from Benton Harbor, Michigan. But again, that can all change off the wall with those turns.
Turns are so important. They can make or break a race, especially in a sprint.
Especially in a sprint. And boy, it's too close to call here at the flags.
Looks like it was up there on the far lane 2. Abby Warnicki of Putnam County with a time of 28.84.
And I was looking a little bit more at lane 9, and they took second. So I thought maybe they were the winner, but 28.98.
Well, a 0.06 inch difference.
Yeah, so Lauren.
That's like a fingernail.
That probably
which
is.
I'm sure none of these swimmers have because that would create drag.
Lauren Vinson from Lancaster, Ohio, with the second place finish there.
Heat 4 of 4, your fastest heat here. In lane 2, it's Amelie Blakely of Fort Meigs, Ohio. Lane 3, Lily Diltz of Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 4, Claire Ackerman of Beaumont Center, Kentucky. Lane 5, Emily Hess, Lenawee County, Michigan. Lane 6, Claire Benorgio, Grand Traverse Bay, Michigan. Lane 7, Marion Dalziel, Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 8, Lauren Taylor of Greater Flint, Michigan. And Lane 9, Lily Rice, R.C. Durr Family.
Again, at the wall, the first touch, so many of them coming in all about the same time. It's very hard to tell. So I would imagine that this is going to be a very, very tight race. It looks like lane 3,
I
possibly.
think. But look at lane 6.
Yeah, coming in very strong. I think lane 3 just barely. Yes, lane 3. Sorry, I lost the name. Lily Diltz.
26.92. Solid time there. Came in with a 27.64. Drops down to a 26.92. If you're a swim parent, you know what it means when a kid moves into that next number. Even if it's in the 9.9, when they see that next drop number, it means a lot.
It means a great deal. And again, a lot of these swimmers, you know, have been swimming for 10, 12, 13 years, and so you know, any time drops they get now are incredibly significant to them, and are things that don't always happen in every single meet. When some of these younger swimmers first start out, you know, they're dropping 5 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds, and then you know, as you get older and older, those time drops become harder to get and fewer and far between.
It becomes the technique. It becomes the finish, the turn, the start, how many times they're breathing. All of those things are the keys.
All of those.
What did they eat for breakfast? How they sleep? What is their mental capacity at that moment? How are their emotions?
Absolutely, absolutely. In a lot of these events, and like you mentioned, especially in the sprints, you know, they're like thoroughbred horses. I mean, they're the tiniest things just make such a big difference. When you have some of the longer events, the 200s and 500s, you have a little bit more room for error. But, you know, you have a bad turn, you slip off the wall, you maybe get a little bit of a late start, and in a 50, those things can be catastrophic at this age. 100, you have a little bit more time to make up. But those tiny details they hopefully spend all the practice working on for hours and hours and hours, those are all the things that make a difference when they get to these big meets.
Well, we are getting close to the end of this session, the girls 15 and over session. Just 2 more races left to go. Coming up next, it's going to be the 100-yard breaststroke. And then we have the 400 freestyle relay. I'll read to you a few results as we are waiting for that breaststroke to begin. In the 100 fly, the first place finish went to Claire Bajornio of time of 58.61. Second place, Megan Clifford. Third place, Emma DeRico. Fourth, Lauren Taylor. Fifth, Lily Diltz. Sixth, Mags Marodi. Seventh, Lily Rice. Eighth, Jessica Rowe. Ninth, Annie Richters. And 10th, Claire Ackerman. In the 50-yard breast, first place goes to Lauren Lures, time of 30.55. Second, Olivia Elgin. Third, Presley Bodine. Fourth, Janie Clayton. 5, Addie Newman. 6, Gwen Thomas. 7, Naomi Maggard. 8, Elizabeth Gessler. 9th, Elena Rindler. And 10th, Julie Basista. In the 100-yard freestyle, first place, Olivia Elgin with a time of 53.08. Second, Samantha Clifford. Third, Annabelle Nixon. Fourth, Sabina Branford. 5, Elise Randolph. 6, Megan Clifford. 7th, Lacey Langmeyer. 8th, Colleen Cox. 9th, Lauren Lures. And 10th, Emma Chernovics. And as we get closer to the end of the 15 and over girls portion, currently in the lead is Birmingham Family YMCA is currently winning with a 509.5 points. Second place is Fort Meigs with 370. Third place, Farmington Family with 295. Fourth, Rapid Area YMCA 219. And fifth, Youngstown with 199. Of course, you can keep tabs of all of these results by going to Meet Mobile and looking up 2021 OHAP All-Star YMCA Zone Meet.
Avery Mills plays fourth, with Madison Helmy taking the third position. Congratulations to Natalie Lee placing second. And the winner of the event from Farmington Family.
We're going to be back in about 2 minutes or so, and we will bring you the 100-yard breaststroke. Event 211, the girls 15 and over, 100-yard breaststroke. This is heat 1 of 5. Lane 4, Stella Tucker, R.C. Durr Family, Ohio. Lane 5, Jackie Pulisak, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 6, Lauren Hetman, Kaufman Family, Ohio.
The festival cut for this is a 109.24. The record here for this meet is a 104.07. And it looks like maybe in that final heat, we've got a couple swimmers that could push that record. So we'll keep an eye on that in our last heat, and maybe we'll see a record breaker today.
Absolutely. We did see a few records fall last night during the distance portion of the meet. I can't remember. I think it was 200 back and 200 fly. I think we saw 3 records total drop last night.
That's pretty impressive with those distance events.
You know what was interesting to me? We had 10 heats of the 500 last night. Six girls and 4 heats of the boys, which shows just the interest in that level of that type of swimming of the 500.
Absolutely.
Because they had to qualify. They had to have time qualifies to get in.
And they're not easy times either. I know my middle swimmer, my son, he is interested in the 500, and you know that the swimming and the timing for that is incredibly difficult to train for.
Stella Tucker of R.C. Durr Family finishing first place in this heat with a time of 1:14.27. Heat 2 of 5, Lane 2, Allie Galetka of Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 3, Allie Butts of Whitley County, Indiana. Lane 4, Shelby Jones, Kaufman Family, Ohio. Lane 5, Eden Gray, Benton Harbor, Michigan. Lane 6, Addie Newman, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 7, Hava Bailey, Cuyahoga, Ohio. Lane 8, Lily Rice, R.C. Durr Family, Ohio. And Lane 9, Alexandria Wires, Kaufman Family, Ohio. Correction, Lily Rice does not appear to be swimming in this one, so lane 8 is open.
One of the nice things about being up in the balcony here where we're located is you can look down in the breaststroke and see the underwater portion, which at times on deck or in other places is kind of difficult to see, and see the push off the wall and the pull-outs, as they call them, and what they do with their hands and their legs. It's very specific about what they can and cannot do coming off the wall, the number of kicks, and what they have to do before they break the surface. So it's kind of fun to look at all the swimmers and how they get off the wall with their pullouts.
Would you say that in the 8-unders and 9-10s, this is where you may see a lot of DQs when the kids are learning between this and the fly, learning the proper techniques?
Well, I usually run the computer during a lot of the swim meets and entering the times and the DQs, and this is in the 8 and under and the 9-10s. This is you usually have a stack of papers waiting for you when they get done.
Which is so tough.
It is tough.
I can remember when my kids were that age, and we dreaded those white papers. But they learned from it.
They do.
They learned from it. Out in lane 9, your winner of this heat is Alexandria Wires. She swam a time of 1:12.01, giving her almost a 2.5 time drop. Very impressive. Good job to her.
That is a great job at this time.
Heat 3, Lane 2, Kensington Cup from Putnam County. Lane 3, Allison Diller of Lima, Ohio. Lane 4, Elena Rindler of Dark County, Ohio. Lane 5, Julia Basista of Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 6, Molly Gregory of Union County, Ohio. Lane 7, Michaela Hanna of Northeast Family, Kentucky. Lane 8, Leah Granis, Limestone, Kentucky. And Lane 9, Lauren Taylor of Greater Flint, Michigan.
Again, a lot of different varieties, a lot of different styles and techniques in the breaststroke. And we were talking about that earlier, which one is the best. And talking to one breaststroke coach who coaches the breaststroke, he said, I have techniques that I like, but really your body type and your attitude, your mentality, a lot of those things have something to do with it as well. So each coach will probably tell you that there's a way that they like, but I think it has a lot to do with the athlete and how their body works attacking the stroke.
You said mentality, too. That's something we don't talk a whole lot, how much the mental portion of training is very important as well.
It's a good race going on
here.
This
is close.
Lane 4 and 5, yeah, and lane 9 is really staying with those 2 in the middle.
But it does look like it may be lane 5. That's Julie Basista from Youngstown, Ohio. And she gets to the wall first. Her time is 1:11.36. Second place finish goes to Elena Rindler, right next to her, with a time of 1:12.39. Heat number 4 of 5 in lane 2, Grace Turflinger of Lancaster, Ohio. Lane 3, Colleen Cox, Dark County, Ohio. Lane 4, Marissa Beckett, Putnam County, Ohio. Lane 5, Presley Bodine, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 6, Janie Clayton, Union County, Ohio. Lane 7, Casey Sanders, Farmington Family, Michigan. Lane 8, Sabina Branford, Farmington Family, Michigan. And lane 9, Naomi Maggard, Springfield, Ohio. Actually, someone's missing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Janie
lane
Clayton from
6,
lane 6. I'm going to guess she's at the lacrosse game, too. Actually, my
Maybe they have
my
a whole
daughter
team.
had to leave to go to the lacrosse match, but these high schoolers have so many things happening in their lives right now.
And I did not look at the rules of this meet. In some meets, if you don't show, you're scratched for the rest of the meet. And some meets, it doesn't matter. So I would guess, if they don't show it, they've had a conversation with their coach, and maybe they're swimming in the 400-meter relay, and there's saving themselves for that event. It's hard to tell. Hopefully it's not an injury or something else that's keeping her from swimming.
Absolutely. All right.
So again, very close here between lane 3
And lane 7.
and lane 7.
But I think 7's going to get it. Casey Sanders looks like she's got the advantage.
And lane 4 then did sneak up, but did not quite take second place. But there again, 0.62 and 0.64, the difference between those two. Again, even though they probably have their fingernails trimmed, is probably a fingernail length.
109.20 is the winning time in this heat, and that's Casey Sanders from lane 7. Now to heat 5 of 5. All of these swimmers have swum the festival qualifying time already. Lane 2, Elizabeth Gessler from Wapakoneta, Ohio. Lane 3, Gwen Thomas of Springfield, Ohio. Lane 4, Emma Dickhout of Birmingham, Michigan. Lane 5, Olivia Elgin of Green Family. Lane 6, Lauren Lourdes of Birmingham Family, Michigan. Lane 7, Elise Randolph, Fort Meigs, Ohio. Lane 8, McKenna Garn, Lancaster, Ohio. And lane 9, Anna Ackerman, Beaumont Center, Kentucky. Elizabeth Gessler up there in lane 2, as well as 5 and 6.
Olivia Elgin and Lauren Louvers. Again, I apologize for the pronunciation, but the two here in 5 and 6 are two that have a shot of that record. So they both came in about 31, 31, and 32-32. So.
And that record again is a 104.07 set by Madison Blakesley from Michiana, Indiana, back in 2018. In fact, I remember being at that zones when that happened. I'm not sure why I remember that right now, but
Yeah, that would have been 2 years ago. But unfortunately, last year we didn't have zones. But yes, that we would.
That was down in Ohio State.
Yes.
2 years ago. Oh, that'd be 3 years ago, because this is 2021.
That's right. Yes.
So it was at the Spire in Geneva. That's when that year.
So
106.38.
106.38.
Claire Bajornio from Traverse Snow. Excuse me, on the completely wrong paper. Lauren Lewers. Sorry about that. Lauren, Birmingham Family, Michigan, with a time of 106.38. First place. Second place right next to her, Olivia Elgin, 106.81. Very close finish.
I wish I'd have written down their split times, but one of the things I found with my kids, and I've seen in general, is that with the breaststroke, a lot of times you're about 4 seconds slower with your second 50 than you are with your first 50. Now, as you get better and better and better, they try to close those times down. But at least for my daughter, whatever she swims her first 50 in, I just take that, double it, add 4 seconds, and that's about where she ends up. So we're, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you ahead.
I was saying, we're going to come up here on a fairly substantial break to let these swimmers recuperate, because again, there were a number of these swimmers that were swimming in the 100 breast and will turn around and swim in the 400 free relay. So I think it says again 10:22 is when the first heat will go, but you may want to tune back in 3 or 4 minutes early. They've been running just a little bit ahead of what the heat sheet schedule says.
So we will see you back here in just about 10 minutes for the final event of this portion of the meet, the 400-yard freestyle relay. We have made it to the final race of this morning session. It's the 400 freestyle relay, and we have 2 heats. The B qualifying time for this was 3:56.39. The A qualifying time 3:46.39. And in heat 1, in lane 3, it's Beaumont Center, Family, Kentucky. Lane 4, Lancaster and Fairfield, YMCA, Ohio. Lane 5, Putnam County, Ohio. Lane 6, Youngstown, Ohio. Lane 7, Lima, Ohio. And lane 8, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Pretty even crowd so far in this first swimmers.
Yes, there are. It'll be interesting to see again how this race progresses because, you know, just looking at some of the swimmers, their names are not obviously on the heat sheet, but recognizing some of them, you know, some of these athletes have swam. This will be their 5th event today. Some of them maybe it's only their 2nd or 3rd. So I'm sure fatigue on a relatively quick meet is going to have an effect on some of these swimmers and what their times are like. I noticed, and I'm not sure if you know, there are no festival cuts for the relays. I'm not, so maybe they aren't swimming relays this year. I'm not sure how that's working.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I have to be honest. I have a daughter who qualified for a festival, and I didn't realize it until I looked at the heat sheet last night and went, "Oh, well, take a look at that.
Yeah.
Your name's on there."
Pleasant surprise.
But you know, different than normally. Everybody's excited about nationals, which is in one location, and this year they have the virtual National Swimming Festival, which is going to be taking place in 5 locations: Greensboro, North Carolina, Oxford, Ohio, Brown Deer, Wisconsin, Voorhees, New Jersey, and Newark, Pennsylvania, sometime between March 31st and April 11th. And then all of the times will be calculated together to determine the finishers. Currently in first place here in this first heat is lane 4, and that is Lancaster and Fairfield YMCA. I do wish we had the names on our heat sheet so that we could be reading them off for all of you, but you'll be able to see all of that in Meet Mobile once the finishing is posted.
Coming here on our 3rd leg. Again, that is lane 4, which is, I believe it's lane 4, yes. 2, 3, 4, yep, I lost my place there. Lancaster and Fairfield YMCA.
And it's always fun to see the splits after all this. That's one of the things I like about the scoreboard that we had hoped to have. We'd be able to see the splits. We're certainly grateful, though, that we have a scoreboard. Thanks to Jeff Bullis for making that possible after the scoreboard stopped working during yesterday's session.
It's a pretty sizable lead here for first place, about 2 or 3 body lengths, and we'll see maybe if we have an anchor swimmer for one of these teams that can catch up and close that distance. But the 3rd swimmer took a lead and certainly has expanded that just a little bit here. Second place is closing up here fairly nicely.
So it could be an interesting race for second place as the anchor swimmers are now in the water. And you know, there are kind of 2 philosophies. I'm sure there are many philosophies, but you've got your fastest swimmer as the anchor, or what's becoming more popular lately is putting the fastest swimmer as a leadoff. And we will see that in a lot of relays. Oh, notice here that this is going to get close.
It is. They've
Lane
really closed
3
that distance.
and lane 5 both closing the distance right now as these swimmers swim their final 50.
Fairly rapidly, yeah. So this will be a good sprint here to the final touch.
Looks like at that flip turn, it might have been lane 3. That's Beaumont Center, Family in Kentucky. And you can hear the cheering a little bit, which is exciting to hear because we don't have fans. So it's great to hear the cheering.
Putnam's going to be close here. It's going to be touched.
Oh, and I think it was Putnam.
They did just out-touched.
Lane 5, that's Putnam County, Ohio, with a time of 3:52.58. Second place in lane 3, Beaumont Center out of Kentucky with a time of 3:52.77.
And so when we talk about touches, just a little technical thing here, the pads that are in the water are actually filled with air, and there's a conductive panel in the middle. And so when they're filled with air, the 2 electrical panels touch, send an electronic pulse to the computer, which then tabulates those times. So when you talk about touching into the wall, The older swimmers really know how to get in there and touch those pads down in the middle of the pad to send those electronic signals, because that's what determines whether you come in first or second or third. And so with the older swimmers, you don't see many soft touches, which means that you've touched the pad but not touched it hard enough to send that electronic pulse. I would guess that maybe with our 10 and unders here a little bit later on tonight, there might be a few more of those. But these older swimmers, they usually come in pretty hard and pretty fast and hit those pads.
So that's really part of the whole learning process as well. All right, moving now to our final heat in this morning session. And we have in lane 2, Greater Flint, Michigan. Lane 3, Fort Meigs. Lane 4, Birmingham B is not swimming. Lane 5, it's Farmington Family A. Lane 6, Birmingham Family A. Lane 7, Rapid Area, Michigan. Lane 8, Grand Traverse, Michigan. And lane 9, Kaufman Family, Ohio. And I mentioned in the last heat the idea of putting your reverse anchor, and I am guessing that that is what Farmington Family is doing here in lane 5. They got Amy Pan swimming the lead off for their team.
And maybe you get out there, get a lead, and put pressure on the other swimmers to try to do too much and end up increasing your lead there possibly.
Certainly not to say that Farmington Family is missing any other quality swimmers. We know Amy Pan's a solid swimmer, but they definitely have a lot of other really good swimmers too. We've seen them a lot today.
Absolutely. I think in that 100 free, they had a couple swimmers in that final one and the final heat. And I know Birmingham had about 3 or 4 in that final heat, so I'm assuming Birmingham has some quality swimmers going here too. It's interesting to note that their B relay is not swimming, and I think the procedures here are probably the same as in a lot of cases where you don't have to declare your relay until technically you get right up on the block. So maybe they combined their A and B, or they took a swimmer out of one or the other and put that in the A relay. But certainly Farmington is out to a very substantial lead.
Absolutely, and second place is a race to be watching right now in between lanes 3, lanes 6, and lane 8, which I think lane 8, Grand Traverse, may have taken a little bit of a lead, but watch the flip turn. That usually tells the story.
Lane 7 has made up a lot of ground here as well.
Third swimmer is getting ready to dive in the water for Farmington Family as they continue a very solid lead in this 400-yard freestyle relay.
4 teams right there at the touch, going in pretty much all together. And again, I'm assuming that people know a lot about swimming or are watching this probably, but maybe there's some that aren't. The rule for going in the water is you can go when the person touches the wall. And so you can be moving before then. Your foot has to still be on the block.
So pretty much a toe, right? It
Yeah,
could even
just
be a toe could be on that. So it's a timing issue, learning. Is that why the splits are usually faster than when the person swims in an outright race?
Absolutely. You know, if you've been swimming with some of these other swimmers for a long time, you know what their speeds are, and you time them up. And you can see on the blocks now, they're kind of framing up the swimmer, and when they get to a certain point, they go, even though they know they haven't maybe touched yet. So it's very important for the swimmer in the water to finish all the way into the wall so they don't mistime those jumps. And you can see the officials kind of moving in there and checking out swimmers as they touch to make sure that they're not taking advantage of those moving starts.
Well, it looks without a doubt, well, I won't say without a doubt, but it appears very sure that Farmington Family is going to finish first place in this, as their anchor swimmer is now in her final 50. Question may be, though, who's going to get second place? Right now, Birmingham Family is in that spot. The Rapid Area YMCA anchor is coming close.
And I think it's going to be, well, it's second place is I think going to be the one to watch, but I think they're going to close a little bit distance to first. But I think their leadoff swimmer for Farmington just got out so fast so far, nobody could catch up to him.
3:40.01 is the winning time for Farmington Family. You know, they came in with a time of 3:31.63, which tells us they can go even faster. That's a phenomenal relay.
Which is pretty impressive, yes.
Second place went to Birmingham Family with a time of 3:45.57, and third place, Rapid Area YMCA, 3:46.19.
Well, it's been a lot of fun doing this here today, and Jen, I really appreciate you taking me through my first swim meet as a commentator. It is definitely a fun sport to watch, and while it's not something that I participated in when I was younger, my kids all do, and it's been a great sport for my family and my wife and I to be a part of.
That's Jason Diller, the voice you've been hearing all morning. I think he's done a great job. What do you think? You know, we need a comment section so everybody can write in and say that you should add this to your repertoire of things that you do in your life.
Well,
not that you don't do enough already.
Well, yeah.
He's a coach, he's a teacher, he's volunteers everywhere. He runs the computer at a lot of the swim meets. If there's a problem, you go to Jason, and he fixes it.
It's been a lot of fun, and we should also mention Jeff Bolus and all of his work putting this together, and we probably ought to thank the Bowling Green facility for being willing to hold this, and Fort Meigs swim team for stepping up and agreeing to run this when normal zones was maybe something that we weren't going to be able to see this year.
We are certainly grateful. Creativity is kind of the key this year to be able to keep things going, and we are thankful, even though the meet's been different than what it normally is. We are so grateful to have it. So yes, we definitely want to say thank you to the Bowling Green State University. Say thank you to Fort Meigs for being willing to put the effort in to make sure this still happens. Thank you to Jeff Bolus, who is not done with his day. He will be here all day long today and tomorrow, continuing to bring you the live stream. Thanks to Denise Phillips for her help with the live stream as well. My name is Jennifer Beck, and we have had a great time with you this morning. Our next session will start at 12:05, and that will be the 13-14 girls. So until then, have a great morning, everyone.